Howdy, how's your dog? Bill from Oklahoma again, how you doing? So nice to see you. What's cracking me up today is the fact that, so finally, we know everybody, if you're unless you're really, really not paying attention to this, I don't know what you get out of this video, but please watch anyway, it's up to you. Uh, as we know, the woman who's in charge of the General Services Administration did, in fact, finally last night formally acknowledge, or that's not the word they use, but anyway, formally acknowledge that, in fact, Joe Biden won the presidential election, or at least she formally acknowledged that the Trump administration is going to allow her agency to start cooperating with the Biden transition. Now, the president is still, by God, saying, I'm going to win, I'm going to win. He's an idiot, and he's crazy. And, okay, that should go without saying. The man's a crazy and idiot. And every time you start thinking, Donald Trump is a crazy idiot. But anyway, so the thing that's really cracking me up now, has been cracking me up for some time now, is people throughout the Trump administration, we've always had these people, when the people come and dream of the stupidest, craziest, scariest thing Donald Trump can possibly do. Well, he's going to do it, he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And he doesn't do it. Now, admittedly, he's still crazy and he's stupid, and he's still dangerous. And our saving grace throughout the Trump administration was how stupid he is. For example, my favorite example is, I think the clearest example of how stupid Donald Trump is, he had John Bolton working for him. He had John Bolton. Everybody's like, oh God, John Bolton's a warmongering lunatic. He's going to get into a war. And while he had John Bolton working for him, he should have invaded Iran. Because we know that anytime that some major military or foreign policy disaster occurs, even if we created ourselves, such as the September 11th attacks, which George W. Bush created by ignoring the explicit warnings from the CIA that were going to happen, the country relies behind the president. Now, obviously, I'm not really sure this works as well for Donald Trump as it worked for George W. Bush, because we didn't know just what a horrible president George W. Bush was that early in his presidency. I mean, there's a lot of knew he was going to be a horrible president, but anyway, he hadn't yet proven it quite, and he ended up doing better. But anyway, so he blew it. He completely failed to respond appropriately to the CIA warnings about the September 11th attacks. And then when they happened, the way the CIA said, this is going to happen, he said, oh, well, the only solution here is for me to cover my ass by invading Afghanistan. So here we are 20 years later still in Afghanistan. And he turned around and invaded Iraq, too. So poor old Donald Trump, all the really good countries to invade had already been taken by George W. Bush by the time Donald Trump became president, so he didn't have a couple of countries to invade. Except Iran, he could have, of course he abrogated the very carefully the Iran nuclear treaty that all the experts agreed the Iranians were actually complying with, but old Donald Trump's going to blunderbuss in there and abrogate that treaty like an idiot, as he did. And so we're now without that treaty. But anyway, so if Donald Trump had really wanted to save his presidency, of course he's just not smart enough to make. This is why a lot of people are like, oh, he's running for president because he's worried about getting prosecuted after he leaves the office. No, he's not. He's not smart enough to put A, B, C together and think through, because he still doesn't understand the concept that rules can apply to him. He still thinks he should be completely immune to any rule or legal sanction whatsoever. That's part of the reason why I pursued all these stupid lawsuits to try to overturn the elections, because the sort of inverse of no law applies to me is I should be able to apply the law legally and getting what I want to. And so, by God, I want an election system to be able to go out and sue my way into winning the election. Any idiot knows that's not how it works, but that's not, Donald Trump's not any idiot, he's Donald Trump idiot. And so he thinks, I'm going to be able to swim around winning the election. So he could have and he should have. Well, he had John Bolton. He could have blamed John Bolton. Oh, John Bolton says we got to invade Iran, so we're going to invade Iran. He could have he could have totally pulled that out because we're like, yeah, John Bolton's an asshole. He's going to want to invade Iran because he's an asshole, and so he's going to invade Iran. And so, now we're stuck with invading Iran, which would have been a really, really, really extremely bad idea for a lot of reasons. But that never slowed Donald Trump down. He didn't care. He as I say, he's a solipsist. He really, at some level, cannot understand that other human beings are actually real entities who bleed and die and suffer as a result of his stupid policy decisions. So he blunders by into stupid policy decisions and causes people to bleed and die and suffer. And he doesn't care. He does not register with him at all, as far as I can tell. If you can show some evidence that he actually cares about the fact that there are children suffering horribly in detention camps on the border because of his horrible, stupid policies, show it to me. I don't see any evidence that he knows or cares. So the man doesn't know, he doesn't care, and he's not ever going to start knowing. But the thing's cracking me up now is everybody's like, gosh. And then of course, the whole thing about he's going to fire Robert Mueller, he's going to fire Robert Mueller. He tried to fire Robert Mueller, but he failed to fire Robert Mueller because McGahn is his counsel. He actually had a lawyer with some integrity, and the lawyer's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. That's a really lousy move. And of course, even that he's so stupid he couldn't figure out. He committed essentially the same crime as Richard Nixon did. Richard Nixon got in real trouble when we found out that he had literally tried to use get the CIA to induce the FBI to stop investigating the Watergate break-in on the grounds that there were foreign policy and national security issues involved. The CIA was like, no, we're not going to do that. And of course, that's hugely illegal. And so then using and abusing the FBI for your own political purposes is not something the president should do. And then when Donald Trump fired Comey, it was like, well, he has a right to do that. He may have a right to it, but that means it's a good idea. It doesn't mean it's legal for him to. No, he doesn't have a right to use his power to fire people for his own political ends, right? No, he doesn't have a right to do that. That's bad, wrong, and that's And so Mueller basically just flat out said the reason why he did not indict Donald Trump was because of the fact that the Department of Justice rules forbade him to do so. Okay, he said that was the reason. Which suggests to me anyway that he would have been more than happy to indict Donald Trump had he not had this rule forbidding him to do so. Very interesting. So anyway, so Donald Trump is crazy and stupid. And so where was I going with that? Now I've kind of lost my train of thought. But anyway, so you're right. So he should have invaded Iran. He had the chance. Then he turned around and, of course, long before he should have invaded Iran, he fired James Comey. And so, but everybody's like still sitting there thinking, gosh, I wonder if maybe Donald Trump's finally going to get together this time. No, he's not. He's not. The man doesn't learn. There is zero evidence the man's ever learned anything in his life. He doesn't learn. He does not learn. He hasn't apparently learned a thing since he was about 4 years old. He's not going to start now. It's not going to happen. Give it up. So I was wondering, and predicting every horrible thing that Donald Trump might do. And most of them, the worst things he, arguably didn't get, invading Iran being the worst thing he possibly could have done, that he didn't do. I don't know why, because he's too stupid to think that up. But anyway, he didn't do that. But so if people are wondering, I wonder if Donald Trump's going to attend Joe Biden's inauguration. Who cares? Why is anybody wasting time wondering whether Donald Trump's going to attend Joe Biden's inauguration? Joe Biden probably just do not have him there. It's a pure formality. It doesn't matter. I'm just wondering, now that he's finally implicitly conceded by allowing the transition to start, will Donald Trump decide to admit that he lost the election? Again, no, he won't, and who cares? I don't care. Why does anybody spend any time and energy worrying about whether Donald Trump's going to admit that he lost the election? It's irrelevant. He did, in fact, lose the election. See, everybody's like, oh, post-truth. What about truth? The truth is Donald Trump lost the election. And whether Donald Trump acknowledges that fact and concedes is irrelevant. It is the truth, okay? He's a loser. He lost the election, and we don't need to worry about whether he concedes or admits it or not. Irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Completely, such a completely, if it weren't for the fact that people said, oh gosh, I wonder if you can do it, it wouldn't even be worth mentioning at all. The only reason it's all worth mentioning is because people stupidly sit and wonder about it. Anyway, so that's not going to happen. Donald Trump is not going to suddenly wake up and say, oh, I should acknowledge I've lost the election. He's not going to do that. And then so so people are sitting around wondering about that, and I'm like, I don't understand why you care. And he's busy, we see him taking Bruce, like this whole business out, he's withdrawing from the Open Skies Treaty, and he's talking about destroying all the airplanes. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with that one, but I hope that maybe somebody along further down the chain of command from him who will be in charge of actually making them destroy the airplanes will do the kind of what the people at the Postal Service did when old Joy told them to destroy the mail sorting machine. Say, no, we're just not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. And the thing is, I mean, obviously, technically, since Biden is now president, you can't turn around and say, hey, Joe, do you want us to do this? And they especially in the military, they're in the chain of command. They do what the commander-in-chief tells them to do. But I hope anyway that they say, well, gee, it's going to take some really, really long. Let's start destroying these planes one nut at a time. And then we can, maybe get a wing off, and then all of a sudden Joe Biden brings in president and say, stop! Because that's a really stupid, wasteful thing to do to destroy those airplanes. I mean, it's just Donald Trump being petty and stupid, which is, typical Donald Trump. So anyway, right. So people are worried about, gosh, will Donald Trump, do this? Will Donald Trump do that? Chances are, if it's smart and intelligent thing to do, the answer is no. He's not going to do anything smart or intelligent. So, not going to happen. But, And Trump and Biden is finally getting presidential daily briefings, which is a good thing. And so, but Trump is just, let's say, Trump, if there's an intelligent, reasonable thing to do, Trump's not going to do it. And so don't expect Trump to do that. So he probably won't attend the inauguration. He probably won't attend, and who wants him there? And everybody's so certain he's going to get prosecuted. Well, we'll see what happens to that. I mean, as I say, I don't think the idea that he would deliberately try to stay in office because of the fact that he was worried about getting prosecuted didn't cross his mind. I don't believe that I don't believe he thought that, because I don't think that I don't think he's might have. It's really kind of stunning. I've talked about this before. The man's fortune rests on real estate, and real estate depends on law and order to some extent. We have private property because we have a lawful and orderly society. We can use the force of law to defend our private property, right? And Donald Trump should know this, because Donald Trump, he apparently is not aware of the fact, but he depends very heavily on the rules of law to defend his private property, as we all do. I mean, if you own or renting private property, you depend on the fact that you can have use process of law to get rid of somebody. If anybody comes on your property you don't want, you can get them thrown off, you can get them prosecuted, and all that kind of stuff, right? And so that's part of the reason why we have private property at all, okay? So, but as I say, Donald Trump doesn't seem to understand this. And he spent he's filed an enormous number of lawsuits. Even long before he became president, he was already filing lawsuits right, left, and center. He threatens people with lawsuits all the time, and yet the man knows apparently absolutely nothing about law or legal processes. It's kind of stunning how many, I mean, it's some, okay, I have a law degree. I'm a lawyer. I know a lot more about this than most people do. But still, you don't need to know very much to know that that's really stupid. Donald Trump's just being an idiot. And he doesn't know anything about law or legal processes. So, I mean, the idea, he doesn't understand the concept that, somebody that I don't think he realizes he's in jeopardy of being prosecuted. His children might have figured this out. Apparently, Ivanka just found out the hard way that she's being investigated. Oh, well, gosh, this is harassment. It's not harassment. Stop, honey. She's obviously learned that from her father. Oh, how dare you look at my nefarious activities. Honey, just stop. Give it up. You probably did something horribly illegal, and we'll find out what it is soon. Whether or not Biden will allow his attorney, Biden specifically said that he won't interfere with the decisions of his attorney general. But there are ways he can pick his attorney general. He can choose somebody who won't prosecute, that he knows won't prosecute Donald Trump. I mean, that's not beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, I certainly think it would be a good idea to prosecute Donald Trump, but whether it will happen or not, who knows? Now, of course, I mean, I really am pretty sure that Biden will not pardon Donald Trump, because Biden, unlike Donald Trump, is smart enough to pay attention to what happened in the past. And he notices that, it was obviously a very different thing, because Gerald Ford was in the same party as Richard Nixon, and Gerald Ford had been Richard Nixon's vice president. But Gerald Ford made himself really unpopular, pissed a whole lot of people off really heavily when he pardoned Richard Nixon. And so, so I think Joe Biden probably knows that and is aware of the fact that, I mean, Joe Biden was like alive and an adult, as was Donald Trump, and Donald Trump lived through all of the events of Watergate and didn't learn anything from them. What does that tell you? I mean, I was a child when I was like pissed off because I couldn't watch Gilligan's Island every third day while they were trading off broadcasting the Watergate hearings live, and that's about all I knew about Watergate when it was happening. But I've learned about it since then. And it's not that hard. There's plenty of information readily available out there about what happened in Watergate. But Donald Trump, completely missed it all. And we did basically the same thing, which is how stupid Donald Trump is. So anyway, I mean, why are you guys sitting around worrying the teeny tiny little bit about anything Donald Trump is or isn't going to do? I don't understand. It's going to be a waste of time. He's going to be think of the dumbest, most craziest, dumbest thing you can possibly think he'll do. He'll do it, and he's busy doing it right now. And we're stuck, unfortunately, with waiting for the inauguration day on January 20th. We have almost 2 whole months to go before Donald Trump leaves office and Joe Biden becomes president. Which, I mean, again, so except for the fact that, I mean, okay, people are dying and it's horrible, and we seem to be making progress with the vaccine for the COVID. But there are other steps we could be taking right now that would help, especially not only with people dying, but with all this poor medical personnel, the nurses and doctors and everybody else who's trying to treat all these people. It's horrible. It's really, you look at it and look around, it's not very hard to find people talking about him completely overwhelmed and exhausted there, and how they're about to die themselves. Some doctors have died, and nurses have died. Nurses and doctors and medical providers have died of COVID inevitably, and so people are dying. And then there are other situations going on. There's still the problem with all the children separated from their parents on the border, and now the federal government's like, well, we can't find them. Which, and Donald Trump's also a really, really bad manager, by the way. And it's really interesting to wonder, well, I wonder why, I kind of have to wonder, like, Rudy Giuliani is a good example. Why do you want to get anywhere near Donald Trump to begin with? Why do you think, boy, I need to go hitch my wagon to that broke down haggle little mare over there, and let me see how far this will take me, it's really dumb, but anyway. So why did Rudy Giuliani basically ruin his career by flaming out, by making himself a complete idiot on national television with hair down to his career does fit? Woo! Yeah, Rudy, why did you do that? That's really dumb. Anyway, so for Rudy, so kind of sorry for Rudy. Anyway, don't feel that sorry for him. He chose to do it. It's really stupid, but anyway. So, except for the fact that there are people out there dying as a result of Donald Trump's malfeasance and incompetence, this whole thing is the next 2 months are gonna be a complete hoot. It's gonna be from stupid to stupid to stupid. It's gonna be a contest to see just how stupid Donald Trump can get on his way out the door. And he can the evidence strongly suggests he can get really, really stupid. So that's what he's gonna do. And so I mean, I can't say I'm looking forward to it because I don't want people to suffer. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be I mean, as far as I know, I'm gonna be okay. And so I'm gonna be sitting here laughing hysterically at how incredibly stupid Donald Trump is. And I'm gonna be able to get him to make videos saying, pointing out, look what he did this time. Oh my God, can you believe he did that? How incredibly stupid. So anyway, yeah. Oh, and so yeah, and then Sidney Powell is. Oh, and Roger Stone now is apparently telling the good people in Georgia, Republicans in Georgia, that they should write Donald Trump in on their ballots for the runoffs for the Senate races in January. Which, of course, somebody pointed out, there won't be a lot of it's a runoff. You got A and B, and that's it. There will not be any space in there. Say here, usually ballots have a little space in the general election. They have a little space here. You want to write in Mickey Mouse, write in Mickey Mouse. Okay, but these ballots are not going to have you. But I'm sure these idiots will go, oh man, by God, I'm going to write in Donald Trump because Donald Trump got the election stolen from him here in Georgia. So I'm going to vote for him again. And write his ass in and spoil the ballot and lose the opportunity to, which is, I mean, it's really, again, and Roger Stone said, look at this, this is not dirty tricks, this is stupidity, this is just dumb. So anyway, go right ahead, guys, enjoy it, knock stuff out. Yeah, have that. Again, further illustration of my basic point, my basic premise over and over again will be the Republicans do not seek high office because they want to govern well and want to help other people, which is, ideally would be what you want to do. You want to be president of the United States because you believe that you have the power to guide the federal government in a way that will benefit as many people as possible. And that's not what Republicans are about anymore. Not since Nixon. They only want to get high office because because it's prestigious, because you get a lot of perks, and because it's a good way for you to enrich yourself, especially in Donald Trump's case, to enrich yourself and enrich your already rich buddies. And in terms of anybody else can go straight to hell and you don't care about them very much. At least you're going to start to care about them when you find out that oops, gosh, there's no economy left. Jeff Bezos can't make billions of dollars if he doesn't have anybody to sell things to. Name your billionaire, and if they don't have people who can afford to buy their products, they're not going to be billionaires, and that's just the way the world works. Tough shit. And Donald Trump wouldn't, if he didn't have people stupid enough to pay money to, do whatever they pay money to you, he would not. Of course, we don't know Donald Trump's a billionaire. That's going to be interesting to find out what happens when we finally get a hold of his tax returns, which somebody's going to do here pretty soon, and we're going to be, poor Donald, he's such an idiot. So anyway, okay, so but that's the Republicans seek high office to get the perks, the prestige, the perks, and the opportunities to enrich themselves, and that is the premise of the book that I've written. The GOP will not govern. So I encourage you, please go run right out and buy a copy of my book. It's available on Amazon. My name is William B. Turner, Turner. And buy all my books. I got several books listed on Amazon. Go buy them as many as you want. Anyway, nice talking to you. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye. Bye bonds.